It's Nolan. Hey, love, shout it, what the deal? Just keep it real, tell that brother how you feel. And we could build many levels to your world. Let them reveal how your feelings stay concealed. Sit back and chill, J Nolan. Yeah, how many brothers really know what's on your mind? When your feelings start to show, how many left from on the line? You've been down, so come into the ears of the world. Early 20s popping pills with your girls. Only the real will unfurl. Chasing thrills in the swirl for Snapchat. Catching backlash for bashing men, but they don't know the half of it. They don't see the drama you face. They get the short story. They don't see the time that it takes. But I can picture from a different spectrum. And I ain't trying to give you no suggestions. Not the exception, I've been wretched since conception. But it's about you, how you plan to get about the struggle. Don't get mad cause I confront you. Anybody can lust you, but I recognize your hustle. Writing them term papers that you turned around and sold. Got you plenty of haters, it's all game. I love it about you, they love to doubt you. All your exes suck the blood about you. Don't let it try to win the deal. Just keep it real, tell that brother how you feel. And we could build many levels to your world. Let them reveal how your feelings stay concealed. Sit back and chill, love, shout it, what the deal? Just keep it real, tell that brother how you feel. And we could build many levels to your world. Let them reveal how your feelings stay concealed. Sit back and chill. Yes, sir. What's going on, y'all? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, commentary, entertainment, breakdowns, all that good stuff. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know. I think we may have come to the end of the saga as it pertains to the Ebony Prince and everything. All right. Unfortunately, everybody's favorite Twitter user went radio silent yesterday. Right? Everything that we covered about this person, they have not said anything else. So as it pertains to the Kendrick Lamar, Drake, riff, tiff, or whatever's going on, they have not given us any more updates. Now, the person that we did see on the camera that they were alluding to, Mr. Christopher Alvarez, the journalist slash social media influencer who does have some sort of condition and is seen in a wheelchair, right, with a ventilator or respirator tube or something that helps him breathe. A lot of people have drawn parallels between him and Kendrick Lamar's 616 in LA because it sounded like there was some sort of ventilator on the song. I don't know if there's additional information regarding that situation, but at this time, Christopher Alvarez has come out and said that he accuses Drake of no wrongdoing on that evening. We're going to go through his statement. He was supposed to go live yesterday. He elected not to. But in exchange for doing that, he decided to release an article where he said his side of the story. He didn't say too much. He wanted to give people a history lesson on who he is and his condition that led to him looking the way that he does and existing the way that he does in this world. However, there's not any more details regarding that situation. Now, we also will be covering DJ Academics. For those of y'all that say, I hate this man, I absolutely do not. However, he does have a case pending, and we're going to go through it. We're not going through it because I'm trying to take aim at this gentleman. That's not my goal, but we're going to talk about it because it is now in the news, and we're going to address it for what it is. I don't know what he did. I don't know the lady that is accusing him. I know he's dealt with some clout chasing women in the past that have tried to put allegations on him that he's debunked. So we'll see what that story entails. Again, I don't want nobody here thinking that my goal with this channel is to run smear campaigns on anyone. We take the information that's presented to us through the media. We look at it through the lens of myself, right? And those that tune in. We speak about it and we move forward. So that's what we're going to do today. All right. Now, being that we don't have any further updates from, again, the Ebony Prince person, we're going to skip them. The so-called Riddler looks like they've tapped out. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to come back at a later date. But again, we haven't heard anything. Some people are speculating that he might be in trouble. Some people are speculating that, maybe somebody got to him. I don't know. I think one of the worst things he probably could have done was disclose his location and give people an intimate view of where he was, you know what I'm saying, doing these updates from, excuse me, as far as the videos. So eventually somebody was going to be able to get in, you know what I'm saying, get to you. Hey, the fingers, I'm not in New York. I'm not in Brooklyn. I'm not in Harlem. I'm not in Manhattan. I'm not nowhere near or in between. I am not that nigga. I definitely would not have run that play, and I definitely wouldn't have ran that play like this. I also think he fucked up by giving so much information about the House of Ebony that at what point are you giving up all of your details on who you're affiliated with, who you're doing it for? You're giving up all of these details on people that you love and lost. I think you did that all the way wrong, because there's only so many degrees of separation between you and these people that you're talking about. We already know you worked or were representing somebody who worked at this hotel, so there's only so much proximity that they're gonna have to look. So I think some of this you played out wrong. You waited way too long to get to your point. You dragged it along for days, almost a week, and we still just barely started really getting somewhere yesterday. And just like that, the line has been cut. We'll see if he resurfaces. All right. Now, when it comes to Christopher Alvarez, I want to read his article so we can see exactly what he has to say for himself and about the night in question. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to look at this article on the Brooklyn Daily Eagle, and we're going to go over his statement. Let me make sure I'm not impeding into the words. Cool. All right. So the Drake Kendrick Lamar social media firestorm that burned one reporter's reputation. So they're basically trying to say that his reputation has been tarnished in some way due to the story. I don't know how the Brooklyn Eagle or any publication that he works for is viewing him, but he didn't insert himself into this situation. He's an innocent bystander. I don't see how this could be tarnishing his reputation. He didn't make any kind of statement. They say, editors note the first portion of this story is written by Brooklyn Eagle reporter Mary Frost, followed by a first-person opinion piece by Christopher Alvarez. So they're letting you know that this first part of the story is written by a colleague, and then it goes into his own piece, right? She wants to speak to his character, I suppose. Christopher Alvarez is a freelance reporter and filmmaker who lives with the serious skeletal disorder y'all know, the education system, thanatophoric dysplasia, and reports on issues affecting disabled people like himself, as well as celebrity interviews. He recently graduated from Columbia Journalism School. Now, Alvarez, who has written several articles for the Brooklyn Eagle sister publication, The Queen's Eagle, finds himself caught up in a media firestorm that involves the bitter rap battle between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, which recently culminated in the Billboard Hot 100 #1 hit Not Like Us. A bizarre alleged blackmail scheme, or maybe just a scam played out via tweets and creepy videos staged in Brooklyn Bridge Park, led to wholly unsubstantiated speculation that Alvarez may have been abused. Throw in QAnon-style Epstein conspiracy theories and screenshots of alleged negotiations to buy items linked to dark deeds somehow related to Drake, and you have the virtual equivalent of Tiger King all condensed into one weekend. Ebony Prince 2K24 makes allegations that go viral instantly. It started on May 10th when X or Twitter user Ebony Prince 2K24 tweeted a threat of legal action at Drake and a close associate, hinting about having evidence of something awful, as well as a video showing items allegedly left by Drake at the Mark Hotel in Manhattan, including an old laptop, medications with Drake's legal name, Aubrey Graham on the bottles, receipts, and clothing. Some of these items have been used as cover art by Lamar on the diss track Meet the Grams, implying there was a mole in Drake's camp. There was also a photo of Alvarez and a copy of the May 8th Brooklyn Daily Eagle used to timestamp the video. In the video, the items were arrayed on a balcony of the One Hotel Brooklyn Bridge, overlooking Brooklyn Bridge Park. Some speculated that Ebony Prince intended to imply that the laptop had evidence of wrongdoing. You've had many things discarded over the years. I wonder if you can remember them all. That's what he tweeted out. speaking about Drake. A second video filmed at night on a scenic overlooking Brooklyn Bridge Park shows more items, including jewelry. It's about diamonds, Ebony wrote. Other tweets make vague and unsubstantiated allegations of child misconduct. Another ex-user posted screenshots of what appears to be negotiations with Ebony to buy the video footage for $800,000 in cryptocurrency, although other users later called these out as fake. A deadline of noon Monday was set for Drake to apologize and retract what Ebony Prince called lies, after which he vowed to turn everything over to a lawyer. So he wanted Drake and academics to come out and apologize for calling him a thief because he feels as though he stole nothing. This was lost and found items that were then allowed to be in his possession. The full story began to emerge according to internet sleuths who pored over the user's page. Ebony Prince appeared to be an employee of the Mark Hotel and had intended to sell Drake's unclaimed items following a period in the hotel's lost and found, but was unable to do so after Drake's associate academics claimed on a live stream that the articles were stolen property. We've gone over all of this. It is still unclear how the photo of the items made its way to Lamar's camp. Well, that's the part we don't know. What connection Ebony had to Kendrick, because clearly those items made their way into his artwork. There was some line of communication. The Ebony Prince person did say that he spoke to Kendrick, but he did not tell him anything that was said on the Meet the Graham song, because he was just as shocked as the rest of the world, so much so that he heard it a couple days late, allegedly. The noon deadline came and went with only more vague and speculative posts from the user, leading some to speculate the whole thing might have been disinformation. But Ebony shortly afterwards uploaded a shaky video of his laptop showing more security footage of Alvarez. Almost 10 million views over the weekend. All of this has set off a firestorm of social media speculation so intense it ranked on Google Trends, and X's trending topics. The first video generated nearly 10 million impressions on Twitter, with thousands following Ebony's account. He has over 90,000 people following him, and we still have gotten no solution. The jig is up. Dumping out the roof. That's, I don't know, man. Online sleuths and content creators dug up background information on every aspect of Drake and Lamar's infamous feud and threw in references to Lamar's 616 in LA, which includes 13 seconds of what some believe to be ventilator noise. The location of the first video was traced to Harriet's rooftop bar, a top One hotel. Users noted that Lamar owns a penthouse near the One hotel and initially speculated that the footage could have been shot from his balcony, which would have been stupid as fuck. I'll finish the sentence for you. Though there is no evidence that Ebony has anything to do with him. Twitter users dubbed Ebony Prince the Riddler after the cryptic Batman villain in reference to the user's ominous and confusing post. So anybody who's been confused along the lines of this article is giving you all the details in a very simple and streamlined way, okay? So we can't say we're confused no more. Like, yeah, it's been disjointed, it's been crazy, it's been wild, but this is pretty much laying the foundation of what's been going on in simplest terms. Alvarez dragged into the media maelstrom. Alvarez has since been subjected to intense online speculation and ugly rumors, including that Drake may have been involved in a physical altercation with him, flattening his enormous struggles and equally enormous accomplishments. I don't know what any of this means, a bemused Alvarez told the Eagle on Sunday. Why he gotta be bemused? Although Alvarez uses a wheelchair, he gets around and enjoys rubbing shoulders with celebrities and international pop stars, including DJ Khaled, who gifted the reporter one of his chains in 2016, and has dreamed since high school of becoming a broadcast journalist. One of those celebs was Drake. He says, "I was with Drake that night because we briefly met after dinner, but all the accusations are false." What follows is Alvarez's statement of the facts, who he actually is, why people should stop spreading misinformation about him, and how this whole debacle is not just hurting him, but others in the disabled community. So this is Christopher Alvarez, the one that we saw in the security footage. Living as a journalist in a post-truth society. So this is where Christopher Alvarez began speaking for himself. My childhood friend and brother texted me this morning. I tried my best not to say anything about it to not bother you, but I've seen your name all over the internet all weekend. Sorry you got to deal with all this. The evolution of social media has opened a new era of disinformation, and it poses a critical question. What does a post-truth society mean for journalism? Platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit in many ways have become fake news factories whose algorithms are routinely gamed for personal pleasure, income, or political persuasion. It has come to a point where it is no longer sufficient for a journalist to simply exist as an esteemed byline. Rather, it is now his job to build audiences by leading an authentic and bold digital life across various social media platforms to still be called a reporter. The work of self-representation in social media spaces is certainly time-consuming and frequently challenging given the pervasiveness of cyberbullying, but the seriousness of how social media now governs much of public perception is no joke. This weekend, a video with a screenshot of me that has been viewed more than 8 million times went viral, and once again, I was in the eye of a media storm, this time for the worse. I'm not aware of the other media storms that he's been involved in the past, though. Clickers are going to click, but now it's time for me to introduce myself and clear the air. I'm a 26-year-old trapped in a 9-month-old's body. I was born to a Hispanic couple from Colombia. When I was 2 years old, I was diagnosed with thanatophoric dysplasia type 2, a severe skeletal disorder in which the person affected has a narrow chest, a small rib cage, small limbs, and underdeveloped lungs. Children born with this condition die soon after birth due to respiratory failure. Currently, I am the only one in the world with my disability, breaking the lifetime expectancy record with ventilator support via tracheostomy. I think that's how you say it. Tracheostomy, keeping me alive. So he is a living, breathing miracle. He says he's the only person still living with this disorder. And he's greatly outlived his life expectancy just by hitting the age of 26. So I can understand why this is a sensitive topic. But I don't think people were wrong to speculate on what was going on because of the way this person was putting this out. If something were done to him, at least people were looking into it. These physical challenges have shaped the way I communicate with the world around me. My partial hearing loss would make some conversations difficult, and my tracheostomy causes my voice to be rough. But through the years, I have constantly worked on improving my speech by speaking in public and engaging in conversations. My listening skills have also improved with the help of hearing aids. My own struggles with communication and a lifetime of conveying my story in a way that people understand and are inspired by have been a driving force as a Latino journalist, one who prides himself on being open-minded and valuing different perspectives and experiences with an eye toward telling impactful stories. Because of my physical limitations, I don't look like the ideal friend, boyfriend, employee, or journalist. That is why I created They Want CA on Instagram to show myself living life without limitations and enjoying each day with a smile on my face. I'm not disabled, I just do things differently, and I belong here. My following are friends and people I've worked with of all ages. It's a play on words that by spreading motivation, my positive outlook on life, and inspiring individuals with disabilities to overcome any challenges they encounter, high-profile people would want to hang with me or us. This is where things get a little bit more specific. I've had the privilege to be with Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and other celebrities who have been very nice to me, but I don't understand where it all got blurred with the fans. I can confirm that I was with Drake on the night of January 22nd, 2023. After his NYC concert with 21 Savage, I was called to meet Drizzy at the Mark Hotel, and we had a blast listening to new beats. I am not in a position to talk about his character outside of our meetings, but I can say I was not violated in any way. Growing up in a society that was not meant for me to succeed in, I would never put myself in a position that would further dehumanize the disability community. According to the CDC, approximately 80% of women and 30% of men with developmental disabilities have been SA'd, and 1.8% of women with a disability have reported rape in the last 12 months. I know the struggle, and to be put in that light has been scary for my other friends in this community. There are rumors that a hotel security guard was fired for letting me wait inside the hotel instead of leaving me out to freeze. I believe this is true and I feel bad. I'm sorry to him and his family. So he's confirming pretty much that somebody was fired on that night while he was waiting for Drake and his entourage to come, get him out of the lobby, because he was not supposed to be waiting inside. He was supposed to be waiting outside. Someone, out of the kindness of their heart, allowed him to come in, and one of the staff members was fired for doing so. That's at least his understanding of the situation, which does somewhat line up to what Ebony was saying. There were jobs lost. Ebony says 2 jobs were lost and 1 enemy was gained on a revenge plot, right? I'm sorry to him and his family. Good people doing good things out of the kindness of their hearts should not be condemned, and the Mark Hotel should reassess who they put at the top of the chain. The Brooklyn Eagle has reached out to the Mark Hotel for comment and will update with their response. Lastly, I've been getting a lot of spam phone calls, texts, emails, and social media messages saying that I am the quote-unquote snitch in this beef, that I accepted quote-unquote hush money from Drake, and that I was somehow in on the plan because I follow quote-unquote underage high school girls. Wow. Now that part was interesting to me. I did see people try to put that out there. They've also released a statement saying whoever's running his account went ahead and started deleting the following of those underage high school girls. Very interesting there. Can't put nothing on his badge, but it does bring some questions. I'm sure it does. Anyway, he says, first, I don't know anything about Drake and Lamar's beef because to me, life is too short to hate and I don't follow it. Second, I'm a hardworking journalist who holds elected officials and private entities accountable. I don't have rappers on speed dial to be the mole or snitch. I thought these statements that Christopher put out are very interesting, to say the least. I don't want to say that this man has been compromised or paid some type of money to come out and say these statements. I don't want to put that on him because I don't know him. I don't know his character. I don't know his financial situation. But I do think that the way he ended this off, to say I don't have rappers or celebrities on speed dial, but your Instagram page is composed of the fact that you know when these celebrities are coming into town, whenever they have something going on, you're getting tipped off to be in their presence. So you are more connected than you're letting us know. I'm not saying that that's a crime or that you're wrong or that something is inherently wrong with that. But I also feel like you're undermining your access, trying to act like you don't know what the hell going on. That's just me. It's not my job to put anything on you. We got to take you at your word at this moment, but it just seems interesting that that's the direction you've gone with it. Especially if you've got connection to Drake and Kendrick and they've both been very nice to you. If you're a fan of their music, you certainly heard their music over the past week to know they're in a beef. Something you may not want to partake in actively, but I'm sure you've at least passively consumed it. But again, I don't live in your head or your ears to say whether or not that's true. But that's his statement. All right? So he debunks all of that. Basically, a very formal way of saying, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. I was there, but I was there to meet Drake to listen to some new beats. Songs was cranking and I got the fuck out of Dodge, okay? Anything further, please contact my lawyer because we ain't talking shit about shit. Salute to Christopher Alvarez, man. It's going to be interesting to see if the Riddler character comes out with any further theories now that Christopher Alvarez has come out and said his piece. That kind of puts a kind of thwarts your story. It kind of thwarts what you were alluding to, because it seemed that you were trying to allude to some sort of child misconduct when he's not a child at all. It wasn't a stroller he was in. He's in a wheelchair. Thought you might have known that. I mean, you've had all this opportunity to watch that camera footage, or were you trying to twist the story because you knew other people didn't have the benefit of seeing it up close? Furthermore, we'll get into Mr. Academics. Completely unrelated, by the way. But Academics is currently being sued for SA, let's just say, out of just to, be safe for the advertisers out there, because they've been trying to, hey, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, they've been trying to limit my videos where we speaking on Kendrick and Drake. All of a sudden they're trying to limit the suitability of my videos. For those of y'all that create content, y'all know what I'm talking about. But basically they trying to suppress the content to where speaking about it is not eligible for monetization and stuff like that. Little technicalities in YouTube. Like I say, man, I try to be transparent as possible about these things. So certain words, phrases, things we got to tap dance around a little bit. All right. So as the story goes, DJ Academics is facing a new lawsuit accusing him of SA and defamation. The lawsuit was filed by one Fazia, aka Zia Abashe, who dated the internet personality, real name Livingston Allen, after meeting him online in 2021. Abashe alleges that on July 16, 2022, Allen contacted her and invited her to his house in New Jersey, not suspecting any quote-unquote ill intentions, even though they allegedly hadn't seen each other for almost a year. Excuse me. So was this somebody that she spoke to for a year and finally went to his crib, or what? She had never met him before, but then he just invited her to the spot. When Abashe arrived, however, she was met by two men identified as John Doe 1 and John Doe 2, whom she did not expect to be there. She claims the two men then slipped her a Mickey, let's just use the slang there, and plied her with alcohol before assaulting and taking advantage of her on Allen's pool deck. Abashe says the substances impacted her memory and caused her to lose consciousness, according to the suit. She claims she later woke up around 4 a.m. on July 17, 2022, in a bedroom by Allen. Okay, so I think this is the issue that they were talking about a few months ago, where things were caught, not necessarily on camera, but there was definitely a ruckus of some sort that you could hear in the background. So she was there to see Academics, but two of his associates allegedly had a threesome with her in another room. He tried to say that he wasn't aware of what was going on, and it turns out that it was not a consensual interaction. So I remember people talking about this a few months ago. So I think this is the same story. Okay. So she woke up around 4 a.m. in a bedroom by Allen. Allen, by the way, is Academics. She states he was pulling her hair, prying open her legs, and you can kind of deduce what she says from there. Abashe accuses Allen of penetrating her. Wow. Abashe accuses him of sodomy and says she was begging him to stop and crying for most of this, but she lost her ability to move physically. So she said, basically saying he finished the situation off. This is pretty fucked up. If true, you're gonna have to deal with that, sir. The following day, according to the lawsuit, Abashe asked Allen for details about what happened the previous night. He allegedly showed her a trash can that contained 2 condom wrappers, which suggested to her that after the alleged pool deck attack, the 2 John Does had taken her into another room in the house and continued to take advantage of her. Abashe also claimed that Allen showed her surveillance footage of the alleged pool deck attack. According to Miss Abashe, as she watched the video, she looked like she was just lying there lifeless, which did not sit right with her. According to text messages included in the lawsuit, Later that day on July 17th, Allen told her to get tested and said she would do the same. Abashe said she found the statement odd, and the suit argues that the text was proof that Allen, who had not slept with her for over a year, engaged in unprotected intercourse with her that night. So far, he has not he has not replied to a request for comment. So why would she need to? Well, we're going to continue. After contacting her lawyer for advice, Ms. Abashe went to the police. The authorities first told her to visit a hospital for a kit, which she did. The kit purportedly led to the discovery of traces of Allen, aka academic sperm. She claims, we don't have the test in our possession, so we can't see anything, but this is what the report says. All right. So at this moment, we got to kind of go with that. We'll see what academics has to say for himself, if anything, his side of the story. But in this moment, this is hers. Miss Abashe then spoke with the authorities in person, and photographs were taken of bruises on her arm, back, hind area, and legs. Abashe also sat for a recorded wire call with Allen, and when I say Allen again, that's academics, during which she claimed that he graphically recounted and admitted to having intercourse with her, even going so far as to describe her vaginal area, right? But let's keep in mind, she was under the influence of some sort of substance. And when I say substance, we're talking about a pill or a Mickey. Y'all know what a Mickey is. And liquor that clogged not only her memory, but her judgment and her consciousness. From that point forward, they allegedly had their way with her. This led cops to obtain a warrant for the surveillance footage. Because again, if he's talking about the situation and he has intimate details about how her body looks underneath clothing, and this was the first time that they'd ever had any sort of intimate dealing, right? Meaning the entire year, I didn't mean to do that. The entire year in which they were talking, they had never had this interaction. So he wouldn't have known what she looked like unclothed. Again, this led cops to obtain a warrant for the surveillance footage and other evidence. Abashe later claimed that Allen disposed of several items, including bed sheets, etc., at the dumpster near his office. Presumably, he was attempting to destroy the evidence. Despite taking her allegations to the police, Abashe chose silence per the lawsuit and ostensibly decided not to press charges. Her decision to bring the lawsuit comes after the allegations were brought to the light at the end of 2023, after both she and Allen addressed the incident on social media. Yeah, so she came out and said some things. He said some things in one of his streams, and I guess this took place December 30th, 2023. Like I said, a few months ago. Now an official lawsuit has been filed. Okay. Allen denied any form of assault, and in a December 30th, 2023 video, claimed he was asleep in his home while the two John Does allegedly did what they did. Acknowledging the surveillance footage of the alleged attack, he said, "She was getting trained by my two men on my pool deck." The suit alleges Allen defamed her by accusing her of voluntarily having an orgy with his friends while maintaining that he never participated at all. Again, there was a video of him sleeping while something was going on, but remember, her story goes, they did what they did to her earlier in the evening. At a later time, she woke up next to academics in his bed where he continued. Let's just say that, right? So there's two separate instances in the course of the night. Only one part of that story has been acknowledged, allegedly. Right? The suit goes on to allege that Allen knew his statements in the video were misleading and false, and he was in possession of text messages from Ms. Abashe where she stated that she did not know what happened to her on July 16, 2022, and that it was Mr. Allen, aka Academics, who informed her of the night's events. In a statement, she said, "I'm confident that justice will prevail and the veil will be removed so no other woman will have to endure what I did." Her lawyer, let's keep in mind here who her lawyer is. I'm not saying anything against her, but let's keep things in perspective. Her lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, those of y'all that have been watching my channel, y'all know about Tyrone Blackburn. He added, "Litigation is always the last resort. After several unsuccessful attempts to privately resolve this case, Ms. Abashe was left no choice other than to file. Mr. Allen's hubris will be his downfall." For my new viewers here, we're just gonna give you a quick overview on who Tyrone Blackburn is, so y'all can understand my hesitance here. I'm not here to discredit her story in any capacity, any way, shape, form, or fashion. I want to go ahead and say that, but her choice of lawyer makes this thing a little shaky. The first remnants of Tyrone Blackburn, to my knowledge, came in 2022. When he took a case against Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty in the Jennifer Hugh case. And then he's also representing Lil Rod in his case against Diddy. Now, the reason why Tyrone Blackburn is somewhat questionable is because they're basically saying that he takes on high-profile cases not with the intention of finding or seeking justice. They believe that he does these cases to get himself a name. Whether he wins or loses, his interest is in securing a name in the entertainment industry. Okay? I don't know that to be true, but that is the rumblings about him. So, we'll see. Some of the people that were involved in Lil Rod's lawsuit, such as one Cuba Gooding Jr., we don't know what Cuba Gooding did on that yacht. He said he just was listening to some music and he said that was the last time he ever saw him. I got to take his word with a grain of salt. But what we don't know of Cuba Gooding is of him to be gay. That's one thing I don't think we've heard. And he says that's not how it went. I'm not taking up for Diddy in no type of way, but they're also saying that there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Sensationalized events labeled in his lawsuit, which I can attest to. Some of it does sound extremely outlandish. But that doesn't mean that these things never happen. It just sounds a little wacky. Maybe these people are involved in wacky activity, and that's why it sounds that way. But again, we've covered enough of the Diddy saga and Tyrone Blackburn to know, and if you haven't, go back and watch those videos so you can see what I'm talking about, that his motives are not always, they don't always seem to be in the name of justice. We'll just say that. And let me correct myself. The first appearance that I actually remember from the Tyrone Blackburn guy was he was also behind the situation involving T.I. and Tiny in their essay. So it seems that he likes to take on celebrity essay cases. They all seem to get tossed out for the most part. But again, these celebrities feel like he doesn't care whether he wins or loses. He wants his name to be known. Take that how you will. I think Miss Abashe's case definitely deserves to be looked into. Review all of the evidence. They have kits and things of that nature that should work in her favor. if academics bodily fluids are indeed involved, he's gonna have to answer to that because she said she was out of her wits. She didn't consent to anything. So homeboy gonna have to, and homeboy and his homeboys, John Doe 1 and 2, are gonna have to answer for their shit. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of who's representing her, we need to look at the facts. And I'm sure more information will be disseminated shortly as this thing continues. So just stay locked in. Again, it's not my job to accuse anybody of anything or run any kind of campaign against anyone. We're just overviewing what's been presented. Okay? So we'll stay locked in for any further advancements that may go right, left, or lead to a settlement. We'll see how it goes. All right? Now, moving on from all of the craziness, I also want to get into some of the hip-hop legends that have weighed in on this Kendrick Lamar-Drake beef. It seems that a lot of the OGs in the game don't like it. I find it odd that they don't like it because in past beefs and other riffs and tiffs that have happened in the music industry, they've been so excited about. They choose their side. They say who they like, who won. Find it interesting that nobody, you know what I'm saying? The OGs are saying this is harmful to hip hop. I don't know if I agree. But let's get into a couple folks that had something to say, shall we? First up, we got Lazy Bone from the legendary group Bone Thugs and Harmony. And that's another thing that makes it hurtful for me to even engage in is that it's niggas that I fuck with. People I grew up listening to, learning, reciting their verses front to back. Bone Thug, and I'm gonna miss everybody, and I'm gonna miss everybody. And I'm gonna miss everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Not Bone Thug. Let's see what Lazy had to say, though.
You know, hip hop, man, is by me going through every single fad of this thing. I love musically the way it's grown, commercially the way it's grown, you know. And I thought we was getting into a good place. Lately, it's a lot of beef going on again.
A lot, bro. What do you think with the whole Drake and Kendrick going on?
I mean, I totally don't like it.
Why is that?
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a fan of both of theirs. I love Drake, man. I love...
Hold on.
Really admire Drake. I think his wordplay is immaculate. Whether he had friends that throwing bars or whatever the case may be, the music he put out is dope. I love Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Really love Kendrick Lamar.
I find that interesting now. I'm pretty lenient on the ghostwriting thing for the most part. You know what I mean? But I've never seen another star that just said whether his homeboys throw him stuff like that, he's all good with it. I find that to be interesting in the whole canon of this beef, but I'm gonna let him finish.
I love Kendrick Lamar. I would rather see them come together as a force as opposed to tearing down. I know a lot of people say, yeah, it was built on beef and all that. Yeah, cool, fine, and dandy. But I saw what that did to NWA.
You know what I'm
saying?
You've been through that.
And I'm cut from that cloth. I was fortunate enough to be a kid on the block, living that life, that story that they was telling, having that be my favorite group, and then the time they spent beefing and wasting. I also got to see Eazy-E wanting to put his group back together, but he couldn't because they wasted so many times, and he ended up passing away. So I saw what it did to Biggie and Pac. You know what I mean? It's divisive.
Oh, very.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's counterproductive to where we can really be. It's cool. I could battle rap. I can write a rap about you, what I think was funny, and make people laugh or humiliate you and try to make you seem in a light that you don't want to see yourself in. But I just don't feel like, maybe I'm older. it's just not it's not a place that I want to be in, because if you really gonna beef, I think you should probably try boxing or MMA or something like that. Like really get it, really get it in and go have a beer about it.
Facts, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't like where it's at, man. And I really haven't got into it. So who won and who did that? I'd rather just stay out of it and remain fans, because I'm in a group that this industry tried to divide. Tried to pit us once against each other once upon a time, and that's been a career-long fight not to let my brothers break up.
Yeah.
And things like that is counterproductive to the hip-hop culture, because you don't see country people
you don't see
them going at each other's head like that. You don't see it in rock and roll and no other genre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what's the point, man?
You know, I used to advocate for that talk of like, you don't see people in other genres going at each other. I don't know if I still feel that way. If we were to sit back and analyze all the lyrics of artists in other genres, who's to say that them niggas ain't sneak dissing each other on some shit that we just don't understand? If we can say Michael Jackson and Prince had a rivalry in the industry, if we could say, who was it? Rick James, that had a problem with Prince too. That's a whole nother genre. Like, we gotta embrace or accept the fact that human beings in all categories, walks of life, niggas ain't gonna like each other at some point. Some people just not gonna jive very well. Some people are gonna, like, if you go into the journalism field, you'll see that there's some reporters that have a very harsh critique of other journalists' work. Same thing with authors, right? Damn, I just saw somebody, I forgot homeboy name, but he had a problem with Zora Hurst Neal, and he critiqued her work. And I believe she had a critique of his work, right? Scholars do this as well, where you see other peers in your space, in your field, and it's not that you hate them, but you don't support everything they do, and sometimes you fuck up and you say, hey man, this is where you fucked up. And there could be a back and forth of some sort, and motherfuckers might get into it when they see each other, have an argument, disagreement. I'm sure motherfuckers done got slapped up in all walks of life off of this type of thing. So I understand, yes, in hip hop, we want some form of unity. I think there's definitely, for the most part, a shell of unity in hip hop. Right? I think for a long time, we saw the most collaborations that we've ever seen, so much so that there's artists out there that we know and love that don't seem to know how to put an album together anymore without having this shit filled with guest appearances. So there's plenty of money being made, spent, shared, etc. Our biggest artists today are not all that big. There's only a few of them that could go on their own tour without taking somebody with them. So they got to have other artists on the tour with them. So they're going to make money with each other on the road. They're going to tag team up. They're going to, like, let's talk about where hip hop is. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry. 2023 was the most successful year in hip hop ever, which means that, as a matter of fact, each year over and over, it's more successful than the last. I project this year is going to be more successful than last year. Not to mention BMI, ASCAP, as far as publishing royalties, are at an all-time high as well, paying out over $1 billion per year in royalties. Why am I saying all this? Because at the grand scheme of things, if it's about hip-hop, if it's about unity, if it's about making money and taking care of your family, nobody's missing out on a fucking dime. Right? Yes, they spread it some tough allegations about each other. And I believe they both believe the allegations that they've put on each other. I don't know the information that Drake was privy to when he said what he said about Kendrick and Whitney. There may be some form of base aligning to maybe not DV, but maybe there is a form of division in their household and Kendrick Lamar is taking a break. Maybe he wanted to poke the bear on that to say, hey, let me shake the tree and see what falls, since we're in a beef. There's enough questionable activity from Drake out there on the internet that would lend some credibility to what Kendrick Lamar said about him and his crew. And I mean, shoot, I think Dennis Graham got off very easily in Meet the Grahams because there's enough content out there that would support that. Rather than saying, dear Adonis, you raised a terrible person. I mean, not Adonis, but dear Dennis, you raised a terrible person. He should have got a few jabs himself. Just gonna keep it all the way real here, man. Competition will always be a part of hip hop. I don't care what era you go into. When these guys retire, hang it up, or decide that they want to be elder statesmen and just make music for the sake of making music, the next generation and the next generation under them, people are gonna have disagreements. People are gonna have rivalries. People are gonna have battles. It's just what it is. It's not going nowhere. Hopefully it could stay on wax and not permeate into street violence. Nobody wants to see that. But let's not act like hip hop is supposed to be some squeaky clean genre of music when everybody gets paid to talk about violence and the deep dark annals of life. That's what we get paid to talk about. When niggas come out and try to give us that preachy conscious rap, see how many of them are actually wildly successful. Please tell me how many that you know of. I bet you could count less than 20. All right. We're going to go to one of the conscious creators that has been successful, Questlove. He made a statement the other day, said how much he didn't enjoy this beef with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. He said hip hop is officially dead. He's come out and decided to release a statement in an interview talking about Tupac. I find this also to be very interesting because Questlove and the Roots, I don't recall them talking about Tupac when he was here, but here we are. No disrespect. So in this video, Questlove talks about Hit 'Em Up and why he doesn't really enjoy that particular record all that much. I know some of y'all the other day said, well, who the hell goes to Questlove for his perspective of what's going on? Hey, man, I respect the shit out of Questlove because his contributions to the game. It's your prerogative not to, you know what I'm saying? But I'd rather tastefully, respectfully disagree than to just discredit his contribution in all. You know what I mean? In totality. So here's what he's got to say about Pac.
I would listen to Public Enemy's album just to hear the guy talk shit. Mm-hmm. Even on diss records, like when you hear a diss record, the lyrics are okay, but it's always the last part that you want to hear where they're just talking like, yeah, motherfucker, now the next time you talk shit about...
Tupac was another one, like the last 12 minutes of Hit 'Em Up is just him airing some stuff out.
Dude, I would actually... It's
almost like, man, forget all this rapping. I don't like you.
Dude, I would actually respect Tupac's Hit 'Em Up.
Yes.
If his music tracking was better. This sounds to me like...
Hot takes. Here we go.
No, this sounds like... Look, I've already gone on the internet and spoke. But Hit 'Em Up, to me, is disqualified, not because of the overly...
Vitriol?
Yeah, the misogynist. Like, forget all that. It's like, dude, you're rhyming over, like, smooth jazz dinner music.
Dennis Edwards.
Like, literally... So wait,
hold on. This is Dennis Edwards,
wait,
right? Am I right?
Yes.
This is Dennis Edwards song.
Wait, I'm curious.
Don't look any further.
I'm curious because I know. How many years younger are you?
So based on, I'm gonna stop it for a second. So based on this take, we should also disqualify the intro to Euphoria because Kendrick's rapping over smooth jazz. That should also disqualify. Man, if I were to go back and listen, are we gonna disqualify "The Bitch in You" by Common? Cause he wasn't rapping over like fucking psychedelic hard rock music. I don't know where this theory came from. I mean, Questlove is a music theory specialist, but I would love to know what part of the theory he got this from to say, you're disqualified for rapping over a jazz sample in a diss record? I mean, Ether is one of the worst beats in a beef ever, and nobody stops playing it. Right? And that shit was made off of stock FL Studio sounds. Like, I think it's, you know, I feel like these OGs are starting to move the goalposts based on who they wanted to like or who they wanted to win. I feel like, I hate to say it, I feel like if Drake would have gotten the better of Kendrick Lamar in this battle, a lot of this shit wouldn't be being said. Just gonna call it how I see it. People never said no type of complaints when the boy was out here winning, doing back-to-back. Excellent song, by the way. If Family Matters would have took Kendrick out and somehow he backed down and that was the highlight of the beef, I think niggas would be playing Family Matters in the club. It's number 7 on Billboard Hot 100 right now, so it's definitely a pretty universally liked song for the most part. If that was the pinnacle of the beef or the end of the beef, I think everybody in hip hop that says we don't need beef would have been satisfied. Unfortunately, you don't get to make that call. Right? Not to mention, it's not like Tupac randomly chose that instrumental on some, damn, you know what's gonna be hard? Let me do that. It's the fact of the Get Money remix, Junior Mafia, Biggie. I'm gonna take the sample from your record and I'm gonna dish you on it. That's how it goes, right? And the reason why it matters is because Pac had the same issue with Nas, right? What was the name of the fucking song, man? If I Ruled the World. Nas rapped over the sample on that. Tupac, I believe, had a now I'm fucking losing my train of thought. But they rapped over the same sample also. Or something to that effect. All right, so it's the wrong song. Street Dreams and All Eyes on Me. Same sample, right? And Pac fucked with that. But then on the same album, it was written on a song called The Message. You have Nas saying on the intro, fake thug, no love, you get the slug. See before gusto, your luck low. I didn't know till I was drunk though. You freak niggas played out, get fucked and ate out. Prostitute turn bitch, I got the gauge out. So Pac felt like, oh, you dissed me. I gave you props on the other song. Now you dissing me on the same album. Because anybody who said the word thug, Tupac took it personally because thug was not really that much of a term in hip hop until Pac made it so. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to make this like a history lesson or no shit, but I'm just saying, like, there's a reason why niggas do the shit that they do. And I think for Questlove to act like he chose that sample or that beat on some random studio session type shit, I feel is disingenuous, and it's a moving of the goalpost that he also, as a fucking hip hop historian, knows is not true. But again, this is the type of stuff you could do when Tupac's not here to defend himself or speak for himself, because you could just say a one-sided opinion, discredit him, or say something like that, knowing that there's not going to be no response directly from him. I'm not saying anything negative on Questo. I just find it a little funny.
To me.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how old you are. I'm not even.
Well, let's not reveal that now.
Okay, yeah.
But I assume that you might be
A couple of years,
4 to 5 to 6 years younger than me.
We'll see.
Right. No, but this is always a difference, because people who are born in the latter part of the decade that I was born in. All right, I was born in the 70s. Newsflash.
All right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, like their relationship with Tupac is different than my relationship.
Yes.
And so thus, when this came out, I was just like, they were like, yo, this hard as shit, man. Yo, he's killing it. And I was just like, dog, he's smooth, jazzed up Dennis Edwards. Like, it doesn't count.
But you know what's crazy is, and I remember exactly where I was sitting. I was sitting outside it.
But yet, when the Roots wanted to go at Biggie, Y'all wanted to mock their music videos and shit. Y'all song had what was your boy rapping over? Smooth jazz. You can't pull the wool over people that actually know what happened. Let's keep it moving though. You know what? I was gonna talk about Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons had some shit to say about the battle, but I feel like his opinion on anything hip-hop music or society is null and void, so I'm not gonna even allow him to speak. Right? You need to speak to that nigga that served your ass them papers out there in Bali. Speak to him. So that's what I got for y'all in this show. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. It's so much better than being on the outside. Don't be lurking. Don't be coming to the page seeing if I'm on, or if I got new content up. The best way that you could do that is if you subscribe. And if at that point you're not getting notifications or anything like that, then you could do your backups. All right. Much love and respect. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Oh, before we go, I do want to give a big shout out though, because I didn't get a chance to do it. Big shout out to Seriously Though, and big shout out to Miss Sonia Pearson for y'all contributions to the channel. We greatly appreciate y'all. I greatly appreciate y'all. My family greatly appreciates y'all. And anyone else that decides to do the same, you will also get your shout outs in the video, because we just want to show gratitude, love, and respect to everybody that does the same to us. All right, now I'm gone. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some batteries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.